Well, here we are again. It's been a little while, but finally time for a decent update here. Got a lot done this past couple days, so figured I'd give you a little demo. Well, there you go. There you can see the saucer section is all wired up. It took me the better part of 2.5 days to get that all working. Still got a couple of bugs to figure out, but everything's basically working as it'll be set up when it's all finished. There you can see there's the flashing red and green port and starboard lights, as well as there's the little strobing light right there, which will shine up through the bridge dome. All told, I haven't done an exact count, but there's about 18 to 20 LEDs here right now, 3 of which are hooked up to the circuit card. The rest are all set up with resistors. Here you can see those 2 reds are for the impulse engines. The 2 whites on either side are set up to light. There's a couple windows on either side, but also a pair of marker lights, which are just to the side of the impulse engine deck. Here you can see this is one of the thruster blocks, just a small yellow low brightness LED, and there's 4 of them set up around the perimeter. Did them the same way as I did the yellows around the deflector dish. Nothing fancy. Here we get into the bridge dome. There are 5 LEDs set up here. 2 to light the windows. 1 for the officers' lounge, which you can't really see here. I mean, you can see the LED, but you can't see the officers' lounge really. Once the whole ship is finished and the masking is removed from outside, you ought to be able to see it fairly clearly. And finally, there's 2 more on the outside, which you can see right there, which will light the floodlights on the outside surface of the saucer section. Finally, there's the 6 floodlights for the main window viewports around the saucer. They're set up on 2 separate circuits, running off a single resistor running in parallel. So they're quite bright. I was saving these ones specifically for this purpose. They're 18,000 millicandela, so they're really quite bright, and should light up the whole interior of the saucer quite effectively. Now there's one here that was originally supposed to be on the flashing circuit, but for some reason just wasn't working. That one LED just was making the other flashing lights just too dim to even be visible, so I cut it out. I had to. There was no other option. So I'll just leave it as an always on and run an extra set of wires and another resistor off of my my little wiring hub here. The way that I have the wiring set up is I have 2 single wires coming in through the neck, which go to a single pin, and all the always-on LEDs branch off from there. The resistors connected to all of the negative cables, or all the negative wires to the negative terminals, while the positives simply run directly to the LEDs. It's a similar technique as I've used in my my runabout, as well as my Star Destroyer, which I did earlier this year. Now, for some reason, all the lights just went out. I think I just have a bad connection. There we go. Yeah, something just twitched and everything just went out. But everything's still working fine. So, minor heart attack averted. But yeah, it's coming along, and I'm quite thrilled at how it's looking. I really think that the flashing lights are really going to add something to it. Really going to make it come alive. One last thing. You can see here on the outside wall just how much light is really coming through that saucer sidewall. Anyone who's been curious what I've meant when I've referred to painting flat black as a light block layer, if I didn't, when I painted the ship finally, you would be able to see that red light glowing through the hull parts, and frankly it would look just awful. So you can see it even on the dimmer yellow thruster LEDs. So once I get all of the seams dealt with around the saucer perimeter, then I'll spray the flat black to seal that up, because it's especially visible with the red and the green because they're so hot, they're so bright. So yeah, that'll have to be dealt with in the due course of time. Well, there you have it. She's really starting to come together now. Aside from a couple little things that need to be done yet, the wiring is basically finished. Just a couple little glitches that need to be sorted out yet. So once that's done, then I'll be able to move on to the doing the seams, in the saucer sidewalls, where the sidewall parts join. Those are going to be probably the most troublesome, because they've got little recessed ridges along the entire length. So fixing the seams and not losing those ridges is going to be an interesting challenge to work with. But I think I'm up to it. But as it is, yeah, I should be able to get that done within, I'd say within about a week, and then hopefully get the first coats of primer sprayed before, I'm hoping before the end of the year. So by around the 30th or 31st maybe, if I'm lucky, and then can start working on painting this beast. I've developed quite a stockpile of white paint, which I'm going to need a lot of it, and I'm going to need to mix a lot of it, because it's not just white that I'm going to be using. So I'm going to need quite a lot of paint to cover all of this thing. But it's going to be fun. Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot of fun to get it done, and I'm looking forward to it. So continue to stay tuned for updates.